Namaste and good morning on this 15th day of November 2020. Thank you for joining the Shree Laksmi Narayan Mandir's Gujarati New Year's Day program. Our greetings to Guruji, Shri Jaydebai Shukla, and to you, our viewers. We do apologize as we had technical difficulties this morning. The RT had been completed. However, to commence this morning's New Year's program, it is my great pleasure to call upon Joshnaben Vallabh to officially present the welcome.
Thank you, Shailesh Bhai. Our obeisance to Shree Laksmi Narayan, the respected Jaydebai Shukla, and our dear devotees. On this auspicious occasion of Diwali and New Year, I greet you in the name of peace. I greet you in the name of love. I greet you in the name of Jai Shri Ram. On behalf of Shree Laksmi Narayan Mandir, Ramakrishna Vedanta Society Trust, I extend my profound and heartfelt welcome and greetings to you all. May every lamp you light bring extreme joy and happiness into your lives, and may the New Year journey bring rays of positivity, sunshine, and bliss. May you always receive the priceless blessings of the Almighty. Thank you all for taking the time on this New Year's Day to share the spiritual journey with us. To you and your beloved devotees, to you, our beloved devotees, Happy New Year. I now hand over to Shailesh Bhai to take you through this morning's program.
Thank you, Joshna Masi, for extending the welcome message. The program for this morning is scheduled as follows. As I mentioned before, the RT had been completed. The New Year's Havan will start shortly. We do have a few speakers that will address you this morning, which are Mrs. Lasenta Ben Chavan from the Vedanta Institute, Johannesburg, Arun Bhai Mistry, the Trustee Chairman, Javi Ravji, the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society Trust Chairman, and Shri Jaydebai Shukla, the spiritual head of the Shree Laksmi Narayan Mandir. I now hand over to Guruji to proceed with the Havan ceremony for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailesh Bhai. लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय. Achamya pranayam. Both of you take 1 spoon water in the right palm and drink. Do this 3 times, 1 time 1 spoon. Om Keshwaya Namah Swaha. Om Narayanaya Namah Swaha. Om Madhvaya Namah Swaha. Can clean your hands. Om Govindaya Iti Hasta Prakshalya. Everybody 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Repeat with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Swasti na Indro Vradasrava. Swasti na Pukha Vishvaveda. Swasti na Staraksho Arishthanemihi. Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu. Put your hands together. Yasri Swayam Sukrutinam Bhavanesva Lakshmi Papatmanam Krutadhiyam Radayeshu Buddhi श्रद्धा सताङ्कुलजन प्रभवस्य लज्जा तान्त्वान्नता स्म परिपालय देवि विश्वं किं वर्णयाम तव रूपमचिन्त्यमेतत् किञ्चातिवीर्यमसुरक्षयकारि भूरि किञ्चाहवेषु चरितानि तवातियानि सर्वेषु देव्यसुरदेवगणादिकेषु हेतुः समस्तजगतान्त्रिगुणापिदोषैर्नग्नायसे हरिहरादिभिरप्यपारा सर्वाश्रयाखिलमिदं जगदंशभूतम् अव्याकृता हि परमा प्रकृतिस्त्वमाद्या यस्याः समस्तसुरता समुदीरणेन तृप्तिं प्रयाति सकलेषु मखेषु देवी स्वाहाति वै पितृगणस्य च तृप्तिहेतुरुच्चार्यसे त्वमत एव जनैः स्वधा च ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः ॐ इष्टदेवताभ्यो नमः ॐ कुलदेवताभ्यो नमः ॐ ग्रामदेवताभ्यो नमः ॐ स्थानदेवताभ्यो नमः ॐ वाणी हिरण्यगर्भाभ्यां नमः ॐ लक्ष्मीनारायणाभ्यां नमः ॐ उमामहेश्वराभ्यां नमः ॐ शशिपुरन्दराभ्यां नमः ॐ मातृदृषणकमलेभ्यो नमः ॐ सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः ॐ सर्वेभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमः सुमुखस्य गदन्तश्च कपिलो गजगणकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नासो विनायकः धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षो भालचन्द्रो गजाननः द्वादशैतानि नामानि यपठे शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तदा सङ्ग्रामे सङ्कटे चैव विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते विनायकं गुरुं भानुं ब्रह्मविष्णुमहेश्वरान् सरस्वती प्रणम्यादौ सर्वकार्यार्थसिद्धये जय भाई प्लीज होल्ड वन स्पून वाटर विथ योर राइट हैंड द स्पून लेमन हाथ टच कर जो अहोमद्यत्यादेव सत्तमासे उत्तमकारमासे अश्विनमासे कृष्णपक्षमावस्यां परं प्रतिपदायां कार्तिकमासे प्रतिपदायां तिथौ ॐ भानुवासरायां वेत्तायां जय भाई रिपीट आफ्टर मी मम आत्मनः श्रुति स्मृति पुराण उक्त पुण्य फल प्राप्ति अर्थम नूतन वर्ष प्रारंभे बहुजन हिताय बहुजन सुखाय सर्व भक्त जनानां सुख शांति आयुः कल्याण आरोग्य प्राप्ति अर्थम परमेश्वर लक्ष्मी नारायण प्रीति जन अर्थम सुखा नवग्रह अनुकूलता भक्त सिद्धि जनाना अर्थम ग्रह शांति कर्म यथा कल्याण उपचार आरोग्य अहम करिष्ये अर्थम परमेश्वर तत्रादौषधि कलशादि नारायण प्रीति जन अर्थम सुखा नवग्रह अनुकूलता भक्त सिद्धि जनाना अर्थम ग्रह शांतिमवसर बंधु दे भूता ये भूता भूमि संस्थिताः ये भूता विघ्नकर्तारस्तेन शिवाग्नयाः अवक्रामन्तु भूतानि निशाचः सर्वदोषं सर्वेषाम् अविरोधेन पूजा समासादि नारायण प्रीति अर्थम सुखा नवग्रह हिमकर संवासः सांब सांपतिमेश्वरम् आवाहये प्रतिचिशरणं याद सामतिमभूर्भुवस्वः अस्मिन् कलशे व्रणं साङ्गं सपरिसायं सशक्तिम् आवाहयामि आवाहनार्थे अक्षतान् सर्वरूपयामि जयविरोधेन इन्दुलोटा प्रेम प्रतिष्ठा सर्वदेवानां प्रतिष्ठां सर्वदेवानां मित्रावरुणदेवता प्रतिष्ठादिकृतमण्डलै देवतैः सर्वनाय नमः सुप्रतिष्ठौ वरदो outside of the भूर्भुवः स्वः कलशस्रणाय नमः सर्वोपचारार्थे गन्धाक्षरस्मावाहनार्थे अक्षतान् सर्वरूपयामि जयविरोधेन Now both of you touch a lotus with your प्रेम कलशस्य मुखे विष्णुकण्ठे रुद्रसंस्थितः मुनितदृशो ब्रह्मा मध्ये मातृगणः कुक्षौ दुसागरः सर्वे सप्तद्वीपसुन्दरः ऋग्वेदोऽथ यजुर्वेद सामवेदो यथर्वङ्गश्च सहिता सर्वे कलशसंस्थितः अत्र गायत्री सावित्री शान्तिः पुष्टिकरः आयान्नो शान्तिः सुदक्षैकारका गङ्गे शयमने चैव गोदावरी सरस्वती नर्मदे सिन्धु कावेरी जलस्मिन् सन्निधिं कुरु ब्रह्माण्डोदरद्वैं कलशस्पृष्टानि तेरवे तेन सत्येन मे देवी तीर्थन्देहि दिवाकरः कुक्षौ दुसागरः सर्वे यजुर्वेद सामवेदो यथर्वङ्गश्च सहिता सर्वे कलशसंस्थितः अत्र गायत्री सावित्री शान्तिः पुष्टिकरः आयान्नो शान्तिः सुदक्षैकारका गङ्गे शयमने चैव पूर्वे ऋग्वेदाय नमः दक्षिणे यजुर्वेदाय नमः पश्चिमे सामवेदाय नमः उत्तरे अथर्ववेदाय नमः Now, keep the container in the left hand. The thumb embedded two fingers. Tap in the kanku and sprinkle a little kanku inside the lotus. Pambate Varunaya Namaha. Fine. Purve Rugvedaya Namaha. Him Devadano Samvade Mathe Mane Mahodo Utpanno Siddha Kumbho Vidodoshan Tattoye Sarvatirthani Devahasra त्वयि तिष्ठन्ति भूतानि त्वयि प्राणाः प्रदर्शिताः शिवः स्वयं त्वमष्टुविष्टं च प्रजापते आदित्यावसौरदस्वदेवः सवैदृगः त्वयि तिष्ठन्ति सर्वेऽपि यत्कामफलप्रदा तत्प्रसादितं यज्ञं कर्तुं ये ज्वलितः सान्निध्यं कुरु मे देव प्रसन्नो भव सर्वदा वरदो भव सर्वदा चल भाई कीप योर लेफ्ट हैंड ऑन द लोटो गुड ऑन टॉप राइट हैंड 11th में हाथ टच कर जो Vam Varanaaya Namaha, 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 Vam Varanaaya Namaha. Fine. Now, that's done. Both of you take 1 spoon water from loto in your cup. Tasmadadagam grahiye in your cup. Thank you. Now, from your cup, take little water in your left palm. Put the spoon back. By using your middle 2 finger of right hand, sprinkle water on your body. Rima Pavitraha Pavitro Sarvavastangavaya Smarit Mundarikaksam Savahaya Vendar Sujehi Pavitramastu Pavitramastu Pavitramastu. Can clean your hands. That fine. Can clean your hands. Fine. Take this. Jai Bhai, you take this rice. Bhodipade Rupaswam Karma Saksihi Avignakrut. यावत् पूजा समाप्ते तावत् त्वं सुस्थिरो भव नमः सवित्रे जगदेकचक्षुषे जगत्प्रसूते स्थितिनाशहे तवे त्रयीमयाय त्रिगुणात्मधारिणे विरञ्चिनारायण शङ्करात्मने दीपस्तदेवतानां स्वरूपचारात् गन्धाक्षतस्वाणीं समर्पयामि सूर्याय नमस्कारान् भावै पूजयामि. Both of you touch your hand to the ground. ह्रीं पृथ्वी त्वया धृता लोका देवी त्वं विष्णुदुदा त्वञ्च धारय मा देवी पवित्रं कुरु सर्वदा. Fine, thank you. Everybody, put this tray on the loto slowly. On the loto, yes. Good. Om Gananantva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Priyanantva Priyapati Gum Havamahe Vaso Mama Ahamaya Nigarvadhamma Tvamaya Sigarvadhamma Rima Gacha Deva Devesha Tejo Rashe Jagatpade क्रियमाणां मया पूजां गृहाण गणनायक ह्रीं रम्यं सुशोभनं दिव्यं सर्वसौख्यकरं शुभम् आसनं च मया दत्तं गृहाण गणनायकस्य दिवसहित महागजाननाय नमः ध्यानार्थे आवाहनादि आसन अक्षतान् पत्रपुष्पञ्च समर्पयामि नमस्करोमि ऑफर बाय द गणपति दादा now take the Ganpati Murti only in this tray. Hold 1 spoon water, both of you. Remotionodakam nirmalancha sarvasauгандha samyudam पाद प्रक्षालनार्थाय दत्तन्ते प्रतिगृहीतां सिद्धिवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः पाद्यौ पाद्यजलं समर्पयामि drop by the lotus feet of Ganpati Dada and hold 1 spoon water again please. ह्रीं ताम्रपात्रसितं तोयं गन्धपुष्पफलान्वितं सहिरणं ददामर्घ्यं गृहाण गणनायकस्य दिवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः हस्तयोर्घ्यं समर्पयामि by the hands both sides. Put the petal also and hold 1 spoon water again. Rim sarvatirtha samayuktam sugadim nirvalam jalam achamyatam maya dattam gruhana gananayaka siddhipati sahit mahagajananaye namaha mukhe achmaniyam samarpayami by the trunk. 1 spoon again. Rim Ganga Saraswati Reva Payushni Narvada Jalehe Snapidoshi Maya Deva Tatha Shanting Kurusme Siddhivadi Sahit Mahagajananaye Namaha Snanam Snanat Shuddhodakam on the head. Good. Put the spoon back. Nilaben. This Panchamrit 5 times straight on the head. Okay. Rem Payodade Dhatanchaiva Madhucha Sharkaravitam पंचामृतं मया नीतं स्नानार्थं प्रतिगृहीतं सिद्धबुद्धि सहित महागजाननाय नमः एकतंत्रेण मिलितपंचामृतस्नानं समर्पयामि. Jai Bhai, water 5 times please. पंचामृतस्नानान्ते शुद्धोदकस्नानं शुद्धोदकस्नानान्ते आचमनीयम्. Okay. Both of you literally one drop water on the head of Ganapati Dada, one after another, but it must be a continuous flow. Carry on, please. Narada Pranamya Shirsha Devam Gauri Putram Vinayakam Bhaktavasam Smare Nityam Ayukamarthasiddhe Prathamam Vakrutundan Chaikadantam Dvidiyagam Trudiyam Krishnamangaksham Gajabhaktam Chadudagam Lambodharam Panchmam Cha Sashtam Vikatameva Cha Saptamam Vignarajan Cha Tumrantashamam Navamam Bhalachandram Cha Dashamam Tu Vinayakam Ekadasham Ganapatim Dvadasam Gujananam द्वादशैतानि नामानि त्रिशन्द्यं यपटेन्द्र न च विघ्नभयन्दस्य सर्वसिद्धिकरं परं विद्यार्थी लभते विद्यां धनार्थी लभते धनं पुत्रार्थी लभते पुत्रान् मोक्षार्थी लभते गतिं जपेत् गणपतिस्तोत्रं षड्भिर्भासै फलं लभेत् संवत्सरणसिद्धिं च लभते नात्र संशय अष्टाभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यश्च लिखित्वा यः समर्पयेत् तस्य विद्या भवेत् सर्वा गणेशस्य प्रसादस्य देवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः अभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि अभिषेकस्नानान्ते शुद्धोदकस्नानान्ते आचमनीयम्. Fine, thank you. Nilabin, take the Ganapati Murti in your left hand and with the towel with your right hand clean it nicely and then put again on that loto on the pan. Yeah, fine. 11. Put this like a garland. सर्वभूषादिकै सौम्यै लोकलज्जा निवारणे मयोपपादिते तुभ्यं गृहाण वाससि प्रभो ह्रीं नवविस्तन्तु रिक्तन्त्रिगणं देवतामयम् उपवीतं मया दत्तं गृहाण गणनायकस्य देवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः वस्त्रो वस्त्रयज्ञभवितं च समर्पयामि. Put chal of chandan followed by kanku. Sikandam chandanam divyam gandhardiya sumanoharam विलेपन सुरश्रेष्ठ गृहाण सम कुमकुमं कामना देव्यं कामिन्या काम संभव कुमकुमेनार्चितो देव गृहाण गणनायक अक्षताश्च सुरश्रेष्ठा कुमकुमाक्ता सुशोभिताः मया निवेदिता भक्त्या गृहाण गणनायकस्य देवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः। गंधम कुमकुम अक्षतांच समर्पयामि नमस्करोमि। माल्यादीनि सुगंधीनि मालत्यादीनि वै प्रभो मया हरतानि पूजार्थं गृहाण गणनायक। अबिलञ्च गुलालञ्च चूवा चन्दनमेव च सिन्दूरेण समायुक्त गृहाण गणनायकस्य देवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः। पुष्पं तथा च सौभाग्यद्रव्याणिं समर्पयामि। Now then, hold this in your left hand, with your right hand offer the धूप and just give it to me again. सर्वभूषादि ॐ वनस्पतिरसोद्भूतो गन्धाढ्यो गन्ध उत्तमः आग्रेय सर्वदेवानां गृहाण धूपमुत्तमं सदिवति सहितं धूपम् आग्रापयामि. Nilaban, please give me the tray with the Ganapati Murti, the tray, the Ganapati Murti and everything, not the loto. Good, thank you. Both of you hold 1 spoon water, please. सज्यञ्चवर्ति संयुक्तं वह्निना योजितं मया दीपं गृहाण देवेश त्रैलोक्यतिमिरावहस्य देवति सहित महागजान दीपं दर्शनं दीपार्थ अच्मन्यम् in the tray. Thank you. Om. बेहात्मा पकड़ियो. शर्करा खंड खाद्यानि दधिक्षीरधुतानि च आहारं भक्ष्यभोज्यञ्च नैवेद्यं प्रतिगृहीतं सिद्धिवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः. नैवेद्यं निवेद्यं. Put it here. Nilaben Abidin Vandan. Fine. Both of you close your eyes. Om Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, Udhanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha, Brahmane Swaha. Put a little water in the tray, both of you. Close your eyes again. Om Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, Udhanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha, Brahmane Swaha. Little water again. Siddhivati Sahit Mahagajananaya Namaha. नैवेद्यं निवेदयामि. पूगीफलं महद्दिव्यं नागवल्लीदलयुधं एलादिचूर्णसंयुक्तं ताम्बूलम् अर्पयामि ते. हिरण्यगर्भगर्भस्थं हेमबीजं वासु अनन्तपुण्यफलधमतशान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे सिद्धिबुद्धि सहित महागजाननाय नमः. मुखवासार्थे पूगीफलताम्बूलं स हिरण्यदक्षिणा हिरण्यदक्षिणां समर्पयामि. कदली गर्भसम्भूतं कर्पूरञ्च प्रदीपितम् आरार्तिकमहं कुर्वे पश्य मे वरदो भव. यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तर्कृतानि च तानि सर्वाणि नश्यन्तु प्रदक्षिणां पदे पदे. नानासुगन्धिपुष्पाणि ऋतुकालोद्भवानि च पुष्पाञ्जलिप्रदानेन गृहाण गणनायकस्य देवति सहित महागजाननाय नमः. आरार्तिकं प्रदक्षिणा तथा च मन्त्रपुष्पाणि रक्षितान् समर्पयामि नमस्करोमि. Hold this in your 2 hands and you hold this. ह्रीं रक्ष रक्ष गणाध्यक्ष रक्षतैलोक रक्षक भक्तानाम् अभयङ्कर्ता त्राता भव भवार्णवात्. वरदत्वं वरदेहि वाञ्छितं वाञ्छितार्थद. द्वयी मातुर्कृपा सिन्धौ शाणमातुराग्रज प्रभो. बोथ ऑफ रिपीट आफ्टर मी. अनेन फल दानेन फलदः अस्तु सदा मम. ह्रीं सिद्धिबुद्धि सहित महागजाननाय विशेषार्घ्यासे नारिकेल ऋतुकालोद्भवानि फलञ्च समर्पयामि. Put your hands together. विघ्नेश्वराय वरदाय सुरप्रियाय लंबोदराय सकलाय जगद्विताय नागाननाय श्रुतियज्ञविभूषिताय गौरीसुताय गणनाथ नमो नमस्ते आवाहनं न जानामि तवार्चनं पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व गणनायक सिद्धिबुद्धि सहित महागजाननाय नमः प्रार्थनापूर्वकं क्षमापणं याचामि नमस्करोमि. Both of you hold one spoon water. अनेन भोजनं सिद्धिबुद्धि सहित महागणपति प्रियतान्नमः. Put the spoon back. Both of you touch loto again. हेमरूप्यादि समदं ताम्रजन सुदृढनवं कलशं द्योतकल्मासं छिद्रवर्णं विवर्जितं. Fine, thank you. Both of you, one spoon water from bowl to the loto. जीवनं सर्वजैवानां पावनं पावनात्मकं बीजं सरस्वतीनां तज्जलं पूरयाम. Please tight. सूत्रं कार्पाससमतं ब्रह्मणा निर्मितं पुरा येन बद्धं जगत्सर्वं सलं कलशस्य च. देवेभ्यः पूर्वतो जाता देवेभ्यः श्रीगं पुरा शतन्तनुं शाबुरु जीवनं जीवनाय च विविधं पुष्पसञ्जातं देवानां प्रतिवर्धनं क्षिप्तं यत्कारसं कलशे प्रक्षिपाम्यहं दुर्वेयमृतसम्पन्ने शतमूले शताङ्कुरे शतपादकशमिति शतमायुष्यवर्धिनी. Put in the loto, stem must go inside. अश्वत्थो दुम्बरभक्षुतन्यगृहूतपल्लवाः पञ्चभङ्गा इति प्रोक्ता सर्वकर्म सुशोभनः. धान्यौषधी मनुष्याणां जीवनं परमं क्षुतं क्षिप्तं यत्कारसं कलशे प्रक्षिपाम्यहम्. हिरण्यगर्भगर्भस्थं हेमविजोम्बावसु अनन्तपुण्यफलदः कलशे निक्षिपाम्यहं. ह्रीं अश्वस्थानात् गजसनगात् सङ्गमात् हृदात् राजद्वाराच्च गोगोष्ठात् मृतमानिक्षेपेत् कनकङ्कुलिशनीलं पद्मरागञ्चमोदकम् एतानि पञ्चरत्नानि कलशे प्रक्षिपाम्यहम्. पिधानं सर्ववस्तूनां सर्वकार्यार्थसाधनं सम्पूर्णः कलशो येन पात्रं तत् कलशोपरि. Put nice challo on the nariyal. नमो नमस्ते स्फटिकप्रभाय सुश्वेतहाराय सुमङ्गलाय सुपाशहस्ताय जसासनाय जलाधिनाथाय नमो नमस्तिरुणाय नमः. सर्वोपचारार्थे गंधम समर्पयामि नमस्करोमि. Jai Bhai. Pick up loto from the bottom in your two hands. From the bottom. Pick up the loto from the bottom. From the bottom. Yeah. And bring it to right shoulder. नीलाबेन तुम्हें हाथ टच कर जो. भो ब्राह्मणाः मह्यं सकृमिना सर्वक्षमाणाय पुण्याहं भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो अस्तु पुण्याहम् अस्तु पुण्याहम् अस्तु पुण्याहम्. भो ब्राह्मणाः मह्यं सकृमिना सर्वक्षमाणाय कल्याणं भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो अस्तु कल्याणम् अस्तु कल्याणम् अस्तु कल्याणम्. भो ब्राह्मणाः मह्यं सकृमिना सर्वक्षमाणाय रुद्धिं भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो कर्मरुदितां कर्मरुदितां कर्मरुदितां. भो ब्राह्मणाः मह्यं सकृमिना सर्वक्षमाणाय स्वस्ति भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो आयुष्यमते स्वस्ति आयुष्यमते स्वस्ति आयुष्यमते स्वस्ति. भो ब्राह्मणाः मह्यं सकृमिना सर्वक्षमाणाय श्रीरस्थिति भवन्तो ब्रुवन्तो अस्तु श्रीः अस्तु श्रीः अस्तु श्रीः. Fine. Touch it to your forehead 4 times and the chest 4 times. Both of you, one after the other. Now Nilaben 4 times. Then after, Javibai, then after, once is done, take this loto in your 2 hands and put on that stool. Right on top there is a little rice. No, right there is little rice. That you're going to put it there. Nilaben, hold 1 spoon water. Anena punyava jana kena karno javadi vireda namama. Fine, thank you. Javibai. I think this whole you're going to move it one side, the stool, everything, because we're going to light the fire now. Put it one side, on your left hand side, slowly. Yeah. You still need it, so keep it there. So when we need, we can always pull it. If you think you can pull, come little forward. Right. Javibai, please take the ghee pot, bring this side, the ghee one. Fine, thank you. Okay, right. Okay, thanks. Javibai, from that cup, hold 1 spoon water and hold the spoon in your left hand. Hold the spoon in your left hand with your right hand, that the water sprinkle in the Havan Kund. Rima pavitraha pavitro va sarva sangatva yasmaret pundarikaksam savaya vendara shuchehi pavitramastu pavitramastu pavitramastu. Right. Put your hands together. One special prayer, very important prayer, and that's for the all ancestors. Okay, due to their grace, you got an opportunity to do that, and due to the all forefathers who have built this mandir, we must remember them and be gratitude to them, right? It's 1 minute, not more than, but just remember them. Ganesha Purvika Devyo Gauryadi Pramuka Smadaha Prasidantu Hi Kalyano Nirvignan Kurtadaram Sriyadi Devi Sada Pujya Saptavai Dhrutamadra Kalyayani Prayachandu Sakadum Basme Sada Yadangatvena Bhodevya Pujita Vidimargadaha Kurvantu Karemakilam Nirvignane Kradadvam Rim Ashwatthamavalivaso Hanumana Vibhishana Krubha Parshudamascha Saptaite Chirjevina Saptaitan Sansmare Nityam Markandeya Tadashramam Etan Shivanatum Ayu Kama Ardasiddhe Pita Pitamahaschaiva Tathaiva Prapitamaha Mata Mahasvadasha Pramata Mahakadaya Ete Bhavantu Supritaha Prayachantu Chamangalam. Fine, relax. येन बद्धो बले राजा दानवेन्द्रो महाबलः तेन त्वाम् अभिवदनामे रक्षेमाचल रक्षेमाचल येन बद्धो बले राजा दानवेन्द्रो महाबलः तेन त्वाम् अभिवदनामि रक्षेमाचल रक्षेमाचल. ह्रीं स्वस्तिस्तु या विनाशाख्या धर्मकल्याणसिद्धिदा विनायकं प्रिया नित्याताञ्च स्वस्तिं ब्रुवन्तु नः. ॐ देवायान्तु यातु धन अपयन्तु विष्णु देवयजनं रक्षस्व भूमि कुर्म अनन्ताय नमः. नमस्कारान् भावे आवाहयामि स्थापयामि. ॐ कुण्डस्थदेवताय नमः. सर्वोपचारार्थगन्धाक्षतुष्पाणिं समर्पयामि in the Havan Kund. Right. 11. Hold the spoon. Okay. I'm going to light the camphor. Once I light, take the spoon to the Havan Kund from the top of Havan Kund 3 times clockwise, and then put the camphor right at the bottom inside the Havan Kund. Okay. Om Agnim Prajvalitam Vande Jatavedam Hudasanam हिरण्यवर्णममलं समृद्धो विश्वधूमुखं शान्तिकै वरदनामाग्निम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि. Leave the spoon here. ब्रह्मा मुरारे श्रीपुरान्तकारे भानु शशि भूमिसुतौ बुधश्च गुरुश्च शुक्र शनिराहुकेतवः सर्वे ग्रहाः शान्तिकरा भवन्तु. आदित्यादि नवग्रहदेवताय नमः. आदिदेवताभ्यो नमः. प्रत्यादिदेवताभ्यो नमः. लोकपालादिदेवता दिक्पालादिदेवता आवाहयामि स्थापयामि प्रतिष्ठापयामि. सर्वोपचारात् गन्धाक्षतुष्पाणिं समर्पयामि. On that tray, yeah, on that 9 planet. Just put everything there. Yes, yeah, fine. Thank you. Om. शर्करा खण्डखाद्यानि दधिक्षीरधुतानि च आहारं भक्षभोज्यं च नैवेद्यं प्रतिगृहीतां भूर्भुवः स्वः. आदित्यादि नवग्रहदेवताभ्यो नमः. नैवेद्यं निवेद्यं. Put it there. Yes. Please close your eyes. Om pranaya swaham apanaya swaham vyanaya swaham udhanaya swaham samanaya swaham brahmane swaha. Put 1 spoon of water in that tray. Yeah, just put there. Thank you. Put the spoon back. Close your eyes again. Om pranaya swaham apanaya swaham vyanaya swaham udhanaya swaham samanaya swaham brahmane swaha. 1 spoon water again, please. शर्करा खण्डखाद्यानि दधिक्षीरधुतानि च आहारं भक्षभोज्यं च नैवेद्यं प्रतिगृहीताम्. आदित्यादीनवग्रहदेतुमुखवासार्थिभुगिफलताम्बूलं स हिरण्यदक्षिणाभावे व्यावहारदक्षिणां समर्पयामि. Both of you take little rice. कदली गर्भसम्भूतं कर्पूरञ्च प्रदीपितम् आरार्तिकमहं कुर्वे पश्य मे वरदो भव. यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि सर्वाणि नश्यन्तु प्रदक्षिणां पदे पदे. नानासुगन्धिपुष्पाणि ऋतुकालोद्भवानि च पुष्पाञ्जलिप्रदानेन गृहाण परमेश्वर. आदित्यादीनवग्रहदेवताभ्यो नमः. आराधिकं प्रदक्षिणा दशाच मन्त्रपुष्पं क्षतान् समर्पयामि. नमस्कारं. Yes. Fine. Put your hands together. आवाहनं न जानामि तवार्चनं पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर. आदित्यादीनवग्रहदेवताविनो प्रार्थनापूर्वकं क्षमापणं याचामि. नमस्करोमि. Hold 1 spoon water. अनेन पूजनादित्याय नवग्रह प्रियतां नमः. In the tray. Right. 11. ઘીનું જાવું ભાઈને આપી દેજો. I think Javi, better if you hold that the pot. No, not with the tray, with the take in your left hand. Javi, offer give a nice big spa. Okay, તમે હાથ ટચ કરી રાખજો. ह्रीं स्वाहाय नमः जावतये नमः इन्द्राय स्वाहाय नमः इन्द्राय नमः. ह्रीं अग्नये स्वाहाय नमः अग्नये नमः. ह्रीं सोमाय स्वाहाय नमः सोमाय नमः. Put down the pot in this tray. Yeah, in the tray. Yeah. You're going to take it, but it's an exercise, okay? Put your hands together, make namaste to the fire. Shantikei Vardhanamagne Namaskaran Bhavai Pujami. Nilabin, you're going to offer 1 spoon ghee, keep it ready. Shantikei Vardhanamagne Namaskam Samarpayami Swaha. Put the spoon back and make namaste again. Rim Brahmane Namaskaran Bhavai Pujami. Jai, please take 1 spoon ghee, keep it ready. Om Gananandva Ganapatikum Havamahe Priyanandva Priyapatikum Havamahe Nidhinandva Nidhipatikum Havamahe Vaso Mama Ahamaja Nigarbadhamma Twamaja Sigardam Gam Ganapataye Swaha. Rajai, Put 1 spoon the ghee in that samagri and this samagri also. 1 spoon. Yes, and this side also. Right, Jai bhai. Now move the ghee pot one side because that you don't need right now after a while. So keep it one side, it's not in your way. Both of you take the samagri now. Literally, little. Must be together when I speak swaha. Adityadi navagraha devata yaswaha. Carry on. Surya yaswaha. Surya yaswaha. Surya yaswaha. Surya yaswaha. Chandramasai swaha. Chandramasai swaha. Chandramasai swaha. Chandramasai swaha. Bhoma yaswaha. भौमाय स्वाहा भौमाय स्वाहा भौमाय स्वाहा बुधाय स्वाहा बुधाय स्वाहा बुधाय स्वाहा बुधाय स्वाहा बृहस्पतये स्वाहा बृहस्पतये स्वाहा बृहस्पतये स्वाहा बृहस्पतये स्वाहा शुक्राय स्वाहा शुक्राय स्वाहा शुक्राय स्वाहा शुक्राय स्वाहा शनिश्चराय 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 स्वाहा राहवे स्वाहा राहवे स्वाहा राहवे स्वाहा राहवे स्वाहा केतवे स्वाहा केतवे स्वाहा केतवे स्वाहा केतवे स्वाहा ईश्वरायै स्वाहा ईश्वरायै स्वाहा उमायै स्वाहा उमायै स्वाहा स्कन्दाय स्वाहा स्कन्दाय स्वाहा विष्णवे स्वाहा विष्णवे स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा इंद्राय स्वाहा इंद्राय स्वाहा अग्नये स्वाहा अग्नये स्वाहा यमाय स्वाहा यमाय स्वाहा कालाय स्वाहा कालाय स्वाहा चित्रगुप्ताय स्वाहा चित्रगुप्ताय स्वाहा अग्नये स्वाहा अग्नये स्वाहा अदभ्यः स्वाहा अदभ्यः स्वाहा धरायै स्वाहा धरायै स्वाहा विष्णवे स्वाहा विष्णवे स्वाहा इंद्राय स्वाहा इंद्राय स्वाहा इंद्राण्यै स्वाहा इंद्राण्यै स्वाहा प्रजापतये स्वाहा प्रजापतये स्वाहा सर्पेभ्यः स्वाहा सर्पेभ्यः स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा गणपतये स्वाहा दुर्गाय स्वाहा वायवे स्वाहा आकाशाय स्वाहा अश्वेभ्यां स्वाहा वास्तुस्पतये स्वाहा क्षत्रपालाय स्वाहा इंद्राय स्वाहा अग्नये स्वाहा यमाय स्वाहा निरुतये स्वाहा वरुणाय स्वाहा वायवे स्वाहा कुबेराय स्वाहा ईशानाय स्वाहा ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा अनंताय स्वाहा होल्ड इट इन योर ब्रह्मा मुरारे श्रीपुरान्तकारे भानु शशि भूमिसुतो बुधश्च गुरुश्च शुक्र शनिराहुकेतवः सर्वे ग्रहा शान्तिकरा भवन्तु आदित्यादि नवग्रहदेवताभ्यः स्वाहा carry on ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय स्वाहा 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. 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 Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnupatni cha dhimahi tanno Lakshmi prachodayat Swaha. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnupatni cha dhimahi tanno Lakshmi prachodayat Swaha. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnupatni cha dhimahi तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. ओम महालक्ष्मी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. Everybody Gayatri mantra 3 times. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaveturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Trambakam 3 times. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarakamiv Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamrutat Swaha. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarakamiv Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamrutat Swaha. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarakamiv Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamrutat Swaha. Carry on. Hrim Agnivaya Surya Swaha. 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 Put down the samagri. Fine. Put your hands together. Siddhivudi Sahit Mahagajananaya Namaha. Adityadi Navagraha Devita Vibhu Namaha. Shantike Vardhanam Agnen Uttarvajanarthe Namaskaromi. Take the samagri again. Rimagnaye Shvishtakrutay Swaha. 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 Put down samagri. Jai, please take ghee. Hold the pot in your left hand. Nilavind hat touch karjo. Rimagnaye Swaha idam agnaye no. Rim Vayave Swaha idam Vayave no. Rim Suryaya Swaha idam Suryaya no. Rim Agni Vranabhyam Swaha idam Agni Vranabhyam. Rim Agni Vranabhyam Swaha Agni Vranabhyam. Rim Agnaya Shay Swaha. Rim Agnaya Shay Namo. Rim Vranaya Savitra Vishnave Vishwebhyo Devebhyo Madhur Sargibhas Swaha. Idam Varnaya Savitra Vishnave Vishwave Devebhyo Sargibhas Nova. Om Varnaya Adityadi Javanatsanamahama. Om Swaha Idam Prajapate Namama. Fine. Put down the pot. Please stand. Chaibai, just move this samagri one side because that you don't need any time. Yeah, thank you. Photographer, please come this side. They're going to Home Ariel now. Chaibai. જય બેન આપજો. यश्री स्वयं सुकृतिनां भवनेष्वलक्ष्मी पापात्मनां कृतधियां हृदयेषु बुद्धि श्रद्धा सताङ्कुलजन प्रभवस्य लज्जा तान्त्वान्नतास्म परिपालयदेवि विश्वं नमो देव्यै महादेव्यै शिवायै सततं नमः. नमः प्रकृत्यै भद्रायै नियता प्रणता स्मताम्. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. स्वाहा. Chavibhai, please take the ghee pot and give it to Nilaben. Mahesh, Mahesh, Mahesh. હવે ત્યાં બેસી જા, હવે ત્યાં બેસી જા. Jayubhai. Sopari when I speak swaha. And ghee continue flow. Carry on right now. You can start right now. Om vaso pavitramasheshadadharam vaso pavitramase सहस्रधारं देवस्वासविता पुनातु वसो पवित्रेण शतधारेण सुवा कामदुःखस्वाहा. Give me the spoon. Please be seated. Put down the pot. चलो कर लो तुम जाते. चलो कर लो. ह्रीं श्रद्धा मेधायश प्रज्ञा विद्याभूषिषबलं तेजायुष आरोग्य देहि मेह विवाहन. Manisha Ben, please take the spoon. Take to everybody. They will be doing themselves, right? Take to everybody, right? Right. Put your hands together. Avahanam na janami tavarchanam pujam chaiva na janami क्षमस्व परमेश्वर सिद्धिविधि सहित महागजाननाय नमः. आदित्यादि नवग्रह देवताभ्यो नमः. शांतिके वरदनावन प्रार्थना वर्गम नमस्कारान् भावे पूजयामि. आलेजो. Right, Jai bhai. You will be putting rice on that white material, that tray, and you will be putting here, okay? ह्रीं यान्तु देवगणः सर्वशक्ता भुजिता मया इष्टकाम प्रसिद्ध्यर्थ पुनरागमनाय च. Now both of you will be putting in the Havan tray, not in the Havan kund, okay? ह्रीं गच्छ गच्छ सुरश्रेष्ठ स्वस्थाने परमेश्वर यत्र ब्रह्मादयो देवास्तत्र गच्छ हुताशन. Jai, please hold one spoon water that side. अनेन ग्रह शांति कर्मणा सर्वे देवा सर्वे ग्रह परमेश्वर प्रियतान. In that tray, in that tray. Right, Jai bhai, give me that tray please. Please put it down, put it again. यस्य स्मृत्या च नामोक्त्या तपो यज्ञ क्रियादिषु न्यूनं संप्रणयाति सद्यो वन्दे तमुचितं. विष्णवे नमः, विष्णवे नमः, विष्णवे नमः. अकाल मृत्युं सर्वव्याधिविनाशनं देवपादोदकं प्रीत्या जठरे धारय. Drink. Right. Bow down and then we done. Manisha Ben, આજે તમને ટ્રબલ કરવાનો હા. બધાને પંચામૃત આપી દેવની પ્લીઝ. ઓકે, રાઈટ. રાજનભાઈ.
Thank you, Jedibai, for the auspicious start to the new year and for giving our viewers the opportunity to witness the New Year's Havan ceremony. The couple that performed the Havan was Chavi and Neela Ravji. I now like to call upon Rajan Vallabh to introduce our guest speaker for today, Mrs. Lanesta Chavan.
Prem Namaste to one and all. Nutan Varsh na Shubh Abhinandan, or if you prefer, Sal Mubarak. It is once again a great privilege for me to introduce our honored speaker today, who will be delivering the New Year's Day message. Those of you who were here last year at the Mandir will remember the mesmerizing talk that was delivered by the very same speaker, Lanesta Ben Shavan. Lanesta is a disciple of the internationally eminent philosopher Sri Swami Parthasarathy. Lanesta has been studying Vedanta at the ancient philosophy of India for the last 18 years. Lanesta originates from Durban, South Africa. After completing her schooling in South Africa, she went at the age of 18 to pursue the study of Vedanta at the Vedanta Academy near Pune in India. The Academy is a unique educational institution which conducts a full-time 3-year residential course on Vedanta for students from all over the world. Lanesta completed the course and continued her Vedanta philosophy studies at the Academy for a further 4 years, also whilst pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree in Psychology and English. Lanesta returned to South Africa to join the Vedanta Institute in 2010. The Vedanta Institute is a non-profit organization dedicated to serve the community by providing access to quality education on critical thinking, life skills, and fundamental values. They work to achieve this by running weekly study classes, retreats, talks, and workshops. Lanesta currently conducts classes in various parts of Johannesburg every day of the week, including one specifically aimed for teenagers and young adults. And all through the lockdown period, classes have continued via Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and lovely children, I present to you the New Year's talk by Lanesta Chavan. Prem Namaste.
Namaste and a Happy New Year to all of those listening this morning. On this auspicious occasion of New Year, it is an opportunity for us to look back and reflect on the year that has passed. It has no doubt been filled with unexpected and strange happenings. There have been challenges faced by individuals, by families, societies, and countries. But instead of looking at those challenges, today we will look back at the learnings from the year. There are so many learnings that we can take back. But today we will discuss 3 things that could perhaps give us a different perspective to life, a different outlook on life, and a way to deal with challenges that may come up in the future. We start with the first one. It is entitled, Life is Unpredictable. There is a philosophical definition of the world. In Sanskrit, it's called dvandvas. Dvandvas means the pairs of opposites. The world is defined as the pairs of opposites. This is the world. This is the makeup of the world. There is light and there is dark. There is joy and there is sorrow. There is good and there is bad, birth and death, short and tall, love and hatred. These pairs of opposites comprise the world. And as long as this is the definition of the world, the human being existing in this world will have to meet both sides of life. We have to meet both the pairs of opposites. Naturally, every human being desires for and works for the positive. We work for the joys, for the happiness. We celebrate the good, the births, the profits. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. That is what ought to be done. But the problem comes when we are never prepared for the other side of life. In that state, we are caught off guard, we are disappointed, and we know not how to deal with life. In life, for a human being to function peacefully, one has to be prepared for eventualities of life. One has to be prepared to meet the other side of life. Now, we may look at that and say that that seems to be a pessimistic approach to life. But there is a vast difference between a pessimist and a philosopher. A pessimist is one who expects negative to happen. He is ever expecting bad things to happen to him. He is complaining and miserable and disappointed his whole life. And at no point does he prepare himself, does he modify and change himself to deal with the world. A philosopher is one who works for the good, experiences the joys, revels in his life, but is ever prepared to meet with the other side of life. He equips himself to meet with anything in life. That is living a philosophical life. Now, when we say prepared, what does it mean to be prepared to meet with both sides of life? Take some examples. A philosopher is one who would start a business. And in starting a business, he would naturally work for profit. Any businessman ought to work for profit. But he is prepared at every level to meet with losses, because opening a business means there will be profit and there will be loss. So he prepares financially for that, materially for that. He prepares mentally for that also. That when the time comes that the business is in loss, he has prepared at every level. He doesn't meet it with disappointment because he is ready to receive it. And therefore, he is never stressed. He is never agitated. He is always equipped to deal with both sides of business. Apply this principle to anything that we do in life. If you meet a partner and you get married, you enjoy that marriage, you enjoy the company of your spouse, but you also know that where there is a beginning, there can be an end. That end could be separation, could be divorce, could be death. So it is not to look at it in that way, but to be prepared to deal with it if it is to come to you. But a philosopher enjoys every moment of their experience, yet is prepared for the other side. Another example is your body. If your body today is very healthy, if you sit with a fit and healthy body, the truth is that that body can and will in time lose its health. Any moment in time, the body can lose its health. Where there is health, which we enjoy and we appreciate today, there can be ill health. Anything can happen, as we've seen these last 8 months with COVID, that the body is susceptible to any illness. So it is not to be expecting illness or death, but it is a preparation. Where there is health, if I enjoy that today, I do have to go through the other side of life. I do have to meet with the other side of these pairs of opposites. There's a verse in the Bhaja Govindam which says, life is like a drop of water floating on a lotus leaf. Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam. Life is a drop of water floating on a lotus leaf. What does that mean? That at any moment that drop can fall back into the pond, into the ocean. This is the nature of life. Where there is birth, there is death. Where there is health, there is ill health. So these examples are just to help us understand what it means to be prepared. When you are prepared, you may ask, but how does this help me? How does preparation help me? When you are prepared for the eventualities of life, you are able to handle it when you meet it. You are able to deal with it with objectivity. You are able to deal with it with equanimity, peace of mind. Take this example of the lockdown. I remember close to the beginning of the lockdown, people had to work from home, and it was quite difficult. It was quite straining for most people. They were not prepared to do that. They were not equipped in their homes to do that. Mentally, physically, nothing was prepared for. And so it was difficult. It was a big challenge. But now, many, many months later, I've asked many people, how are you feeling working at home now? Are you waiting to go back into the office? And most people say that they are very comfortable at home. They have found a routine. They've managed to balance their household obligations with work while being in the same environment. They have equipped their home with the right chairs, with the right tables, with the internet that they need. And now they are very comfortable. In fact, many say it's better than going into the office. Now, why is there a change? Same situation at the beginning, same situation now, working from home. But now you are prepared for it. You have prepared yourself at the different levels. And so the experience is not negative anymore. In fact, you can derive various positives from it. This is what preparation does for the human being. So what Vedanta says to us is be a philosopher. Be prepared for life. Be ready to deal with life. And how do we do this? It involves us stepping back from life to look at life as it is and not the way that we want it to be. What is the nature of life? To then understand it and be prepared for it. That is living a philosophical life. That's number one, understanding that life is volatile, is changing between the pairs of opposites, and therefore we must prepare for it. Number two is entitled The Importance of Introversion. The importance of introversion, a valuable lesson we have learned this year. Before we go into that, what is an extrovert? What is an introvert? Now, Vedantically, the definitions, an extrovert is one who is seeking his happiness outside of himself. His focus is external, and he is chasing shadows of happiness through the things and beings of the world. While an introvert is one who is not caught in the chase of the world, is not caught in the pursuit of the world. He is able to think and reflect and contemplate on himself and his life. And through this, he realizes that happiness is within him. It does not exist in the world as others believe it to be, but it exists within him. So an introvert is one who seeks happiness internally through understanding himself and life. An extrovert is one who seeks happiness externally through objects and beings, through things and relationships. Now, if we look at the world, we analyze the world, we see that the world has become very extroverted, that humanity is caught in this rat race of life, living a routine, mechanical life. We say it's a fast-paced life. Everything is very fast. I have to keep up with the world. But that actually is just my extroverted mind looking outside, chasing the external. So what happens in this is that we go day in, day out, not questioning our choices, not questioning our decisions, not looking at the clear signs that show us that perhaps we're living a negative life, but we continue and we damage ourselves physically and emotionally in this extroverted pursuit, chasing happiness outside of ourselves. What the lockdown has provided for us has offered us the opportunity to physically stop. So physically, there was a lockdown. Physically, at least for the first month or two, we were forced to remain indoors, regulated rules that made us do this. And in this forced extroversion, it's an external extroversion, but it did allow and afford people the opportunity to turn internally introverted. An internal introversion was created for a lot of people, where they had the time and the opportunity to look more closely into their lives, into their choices, into their character, into their relationships. And this is something that's not just important, but it is essential as a human being, to be able to look into oneself, to understand oneself, to know oneself. And you may ask, but why is it so important? Is it essential? Why is it necessary? It's necessary, it's important, it's essential, because if I do not know who I am, then I cannot know where I want to go. If I don't know who I am, I cannot know where I want to go. And if I do not know where I'm going, then I cannot make choices. On a daily basis, we find ourselves in a dilemma of choice. What is the right thing to do? What is a good thing to do? And it's difficult to make choices because I don't know where I'm going. And that all has its root in me not knowing who I am. The moment I don't know who I am, everything is out of order. Everything is chaotic. Take the example of an amnesiac patient, someone who's lost their memory. As long as they do not remember who they are, they do not remember or know anything else in their lives. Everything turns upside down the moment they forget themselves. They do not know their profession. They do not know what they were working for. They do not know their relationships. They do not know where they live. Everything is chaotic. Everything turns to chaos because they do not know who they are. Therefore, if you take that example, we don't realize it in life because we think we know who we are and we think we know where we are going, but daily we meet with difficulty. We find life chaotic. And it all comes back to a lack of introversion, that life, the individual, has become very extroverted today. And as long as we don't give time to look into ourselves, we cannot find the joy, the happiness, the peace that we are all searching for, but searching in the wrong place. And introversion, knowing yourself, affords you the opportunity to find that seat of happiness within yourself. There is a quote by Rumi, and he says, "The universe is not outside of you. Look inside of yourself. Everything that you want, you already have." So that is the importance of introversion. And the third and the last point is that everything happens for a reason. Now, this is quite a cliched term. We've heard it many times, but it is a factual concept that everything does happen for a reason. What do we mean when we say this? We mean that it's a scientific law that everything in life is governed by the law of cause and effect. The law of causation, many know it as the law of karma. It is that every cause has an effect and every effect has come from a prior cause. This is a scientific law which functions with mathematical precision. But the problem is that I don't have a full perspective or a vision of all the causes and effects in the world. I can't put all these causes together. And for that reason, I may not always be able to connect the causes and effects in my life in the world. For most of the time, we can. So you know that if you put in good effort, you have an exam or you have a big project that you're working on, you put in the right effort, you prepare well, you plan well, you give it your best, you've put in the right cause, the effect will be that you are successful in that exam or in that project. You do well because you put in good effort. So a lot of the time in our lives, we can correlate cause and effect. I exercise, I eat very healthy, and the resultant effect would be that my body is fit and healthy. The opposite, I neglect the body, I never exercise today, I sit with health issues. Most of our lives, we can correlate cause and effect. There's a clear correlation. But there are times when the law will still be functioning. It never ceases to function. But I may not have all the causes to determine why this effect is happening. Why is this current experience here that I have to go through? I may not be able to relate the cause of that. And at that moment, it's important not to fall into pessimism, not to become despondent. Why did this happen to me? Or why is life like this? It's important to understand this law of causation that functions with precision, that everything is defined by cause and effect. And therefore, what is happening right now, or at any moment in our lives, is the resultant effect of prior causes. There are causes that have created this experience, and I do not know how this experience becomes a part of the future effect, how it shapes my future. I cannot tell. And therefore, getting negatively impacted, becoming pessimistic about this experience has no value. I cannot correlate it. So I have to accept it, that this is what is happening. And this could very well be a positive cause for a positive effect to come in the future. I do not know how this fits in. The whole world of cause and effect are all these different pieces of a puzzle. And at any moment in time, we don't have the total picture. So instead of turning pessimistic, we ought to be objective, which means look at the situation, be clear in understanding that it's not undeserved or unwarranted. It is according to the law of cause and effect. It's an effect that I must go through now, deal with it the best way that I can, and remember that this could be something that brings about a positive in the future that I can't see right now. So instead of pessimism, we can look at it optimistically. We can look at it very positively. To give you a story that will explain this a bit better, the story is of a kingdom with a king, and that king had a young son. And the king also had a minister that would often give him advice and counsel. And this minister had quite a interesting characteristic. He would always respond to anything that was said with the phrase, "It is all by the grace of God." So this was his catchphrase, "It is all by the grace of God." Anything good happened, he would say, "It's all by the grace of God." Anything bad happened, he would say the same thing. And the young prince, as he was growing up, he was quite annoyed by this minister and his constant phrase, because a good thing would happen, he would be very excited and he would have this neutral reaction, "It's all by the grace of God." Terrible thing would happen, he would have a similar reaction. So the young prince didn't appreciate this, but he went through it. And when he was in his teens, he went on a hunting expedition. The prince went with his horse, he went hunting, and in this hunting expedition, he got quite far out into the forest, and there was an accident. Another hunter was trying to shoot an animal, instead shot him, but he shot him luckily on his toe, his big toe. He ran back, got taken back to the palace, and they looked into it. They called the doctors. They tried to help him with the pain, and they did the best they could. They could not save the toe, but it was able to be healed. So they did the best that they could. At this time, the minister said to him, "It's all by the grace of God." And the prince, at this age, he'd heard it thousands of times, was frustrated. He didn't say anything because this was a person his father respected. And that happened years later. That wound had healed, but of course he had lost his toe. And he went on another expedition, hunting expedition with a friend. And they both went out chasing an animal. They went very far out this time in chase of the animal. And in their involvement in this hunt, they found themselves in a place that they did not recognize. And slowly they found a tribal ganging up on them. And these tribal people caught them, took them to their gathering, and they tied them up. And at that point, they were doing a sacrifice to the gods. And they needed something to sacrifice. They found these two young men who they could offer to God. And before the ritual was conducted, they examined the two men to make sure that they were of good quality to give to God. And they examined the friend, and they looked at the friend. The friend was perfect. They were quite happy with him. They examined this prince. They looked at him from head going all the way to the bottom until they came to his feet, and they saw that the 1 foot toe was missing. And they were very disappointed by this. They could not offer this to God, a defective product. Can't offer this to God. They cut him loose and said, you get lost, we don't need you. They kept the friend. Prince ran for his life. He went back to the palace. He told them what is happening. They, of course, sent a group to go and save the friend. And in all this, the minister's response was, it's all by the grace of God. And that was the first time that the prince actually realized what that phrase meant. And this story helps us to understand that things happen in life for a reason. It's not a belief, it's not to have a faith, it's cause and effect. There are causes that have led to this, and this becomes a cause for something that will happen in the future. We don't know why it happens always. And so this attitude is what can help us be objective in life. Deal with the good and the bad that comes and realize that this is what has to be. And if I look at it in the best way, I can maintain peace in the present, and it could very well lead to something positive in the future. So it gives us the objectivity to deal with life, understanding that everything happens because of cause and effect. It's all by the grace of God. There is a quote from Shakespeare's play. He says, in Hamlet, he says, there is a divinity that shapes our ends. It's the same concept that we're speaking about now. Things happen, we don't know why, but you can look at it in a positive light. There's something shaping what is happening. So do the best you can, but let it be. Do not get despondent or pessimistic about it. And Rumi says, these pains that you feel are messengers. Listen to them. So these negatives and difficulties that come, I can use them objectively to learn from them and make a transformation for the future. So that concludes the three perhaps most important lessons that we can learn from life. To recap that, we said life is unpredictable. So be prepared for the eventualities of life. The second was the importance of introversion, that today we have become highly extroverted, and it becomes important for us to give time to look into ourselves, to understand life. And the last, that everything happens for a reason. There is a divinity that shapes our ends. It's all by the grace of God. Accept it and use it objectively to grow and to contribute to something positive in the future. And in conclusion, all of this that we've talked about, we can help ourselves to develop these traits and these characteristics by gaining this higher knowledge, by studying the higher values that have been put forth to us by the great sages and saints of the past. Vedanta is just a compilation of these eternal truths. It's called Sanatana Dharma. And as a human being, it is imperative that we gain these truths. We study these truths and learn them. Vedanta is like a manual for life. Any gadget that you buy, equipment, machinery, vehicle, comes with a manual, a guide on how best to use that. Vedanta is the manual for life. It tells us about ourselves. It shows a mirror to us to look at ourselves and to look at life. And in understanding ourselves and understanding life, we're able to find peace and prosperity. It is the goal of every human being to live peacefully and happily and to find success in everything that we do. Thank you very much.
It is an honor and privilege to now call upon Javi Ravji, the chairman of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society Trust, to share a few words, followed by a message from the trustee chairman, Arunbai Mistry.
Thank you, Shailesh Ravji, the Master of Ceremonies. The respected Sri Jaidebai Shukla, spiritual head of the Shree Laksmi Narayan Mandir, esteemed brothers and sisters, loving children. On this auspicious occasion of the new year, I greet you in the name of peace and I greet you in the name of harmony. Today we find ourselves celebrating a wonderful event. What better way to celebrate than a laughter on our face and a smile on our lips. Brothers and sisters, today we find ourselves in a problem area because we say things we don't mean, we don't do things that makes others happy. And what we find is that we are thinking before we are thinking. We hurting people and we've forgotten how to laugh and how to smile and how to say a kind word. I'd like to share a true story. It's about an idiot boy and a special mother. One day, this idiot child came from school and gave his mother a letter. And the mother read the letter with tears in her eyes. And this little child looked at the mum and said, "Mummy, have I done something wrong? What is it that makes you cry?" And the little boy kept on wondering why the mum is crying. And the mom said, "My loving child, this letter says that you are a genius. The school do not have teachers that can teach you. You need to train your child yourself." So the next day, the mom removed the child from the school and from that day onwards started teaching the child on her own. Many years later, this very child became the most profound inventor of the century. Brothers and sisters, this very child invented the light bulb. He invented the electric generator. He invented the camera. He invented just about everything you can think of, thousands of inventions. And in fact, he helped usher the modern age into a new era. While this process was going on, the mom had passed away. And one day while he was going through her mother's closet, he found the same letter that the teacher had given him. He opened the letter and to his real amazement, he saw what was really written. It read that your child is mentally challenged. We cannot teach him. He is expelled. This little child that has grown into a profound man with tears running down his eyes really understood what his mother had said that day when he showed her the letter. That very child, brothers and sisters, is none other than Edison, Thomas Alva Edison, the most profound inventor of the modern era. And he realized that his mother really changed his life. And what he did was he went to his diary and he wrote, "A mentally ill child by the name of Edison changed his life by merely his mother, a special mother that read a very significant, that provided very significant words in his ears." So brothers and sisters, the message today is, how many times have we thrown tantrums just to realize that we misunderstood the situations? How many times did we say things that we never really meant? There is life and death in the power of the tongue. Be careful what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. I think adding a kind word, a generous and heartfelt hug will make all the difference in the people that you are surrounded by and the people that you love. On this very occasion of the new year, I say, learn how to smile, learn how to laugh, and together we can walk forward towards a better tomorrow. To all our loving devotees out there, I say, on behalf of the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society Trust and the Shree Laksmi Narayan Mandir, Nutan Varas Abhinandan. Namaste and thank you.
Namaste and Salam Mubarak to one and all. It has been a difficult year for us all. The COVID-19 pandemic has persisted for about 9 months now, with the possibility of many more months. We have missed meeting and visiting family and friends and missing live events. Many have had to postpone their weddings, and we have been unable to pay respects and bid farewell to family or community members who passed on during this period. Though certain restrictions have been lifted, it is not over yet. We have to continue to take all the precautions to keep everyone safe from infection from this virus. In spite of the lockdown and the Mandir being closed to level 4 restrictions, the Laksmi Narayan Mandir has remained active. All our religious functions have been shared via social media. All the festivals and pujas, starting from Ram Navami in early April, right up to today, the New Year's Day, were all shared via various social media platforms with a record number of viewers tuning in to the events. Our thanks to Videsh Nana, Bhavik Gosai and Ashish Jeevan for the dedicated effort, and Jaidabai Sukla for conducting them so well. There are many families who will not be celebrating Diwali this year due to the loss of a family member. Our prayers and condolences go out to all of them. I would like to take this opportunity to pay special tribute to a stalwart of our community and a long-standing trustee of the society, Sri Chibubai Narayan, who succumbed to this virus. His contribution to the society will be remembered for a long time to come. Due to no function being held at the hall and mandir, we have had to dig into our reserves for the maintenance and upkeep of the premises. It is my humble appeal that members continue to donate, no matter how small, to the welfare and upkeep of the mandir and hall. On behalf of the trustees, I wish you all health and prosperity in the new year. May Sri Laksmi Narayan enter your home, bless you and your household with all your desires, and above all, keep safe. Let us hope that the vaccine will soon be available and we can return to what we know as normal. In the meantime, continue to practice the stipulated protocols and stay safe. आप सबने श्री रामकृष्ण वेदांत सोसाइटी ट्रस्ट ना ट्रस्टीज तरफ थी नूतन वर्ष ना अभिनंदन. May your year ahead be a better one and enjoy good health, happiness and prosperity. Thank you and namaste.
We now like to hand over to Sri Jaidabai Shukla to share his message.
Lakshmi Narayan Bhagavan ki jai. Dear devotees, I greet you in the name of our temple deity, Lord Lakshmi Narayan. And today, since the new year started, which is our Gujarati New Year 2077, and on that, instead of saying Happy New Year or Sal Mubarak, I would like to say, and I would like all of you to greet like that, Nutan Varshabhinandan. So, Nutan Varshabhinandan to all of you. I would like to say 2-3 things as a message, a part of our community. First of all, as our speakers have told, and we all know that the whole world is going through that pandemic, COVID-19. And we are at the better stage now. But by any chance, if there is a second wave, we as a citizen of South Africa, we will be responsible, because that's why we'll have to discipline ourselves. So if not necessary, we don't have to go outside try to limit the members of presence of the members in the function. So this we will have to put in practice. Another thing, as I started with the Nutan Varsa Abhinandan, I want to emphasize that for any culture or any civilization, there are few pillars, and we have to look after that. The bhasha, which is language, is one of the most important pillars. Another pillar is, you can say, the food, khorak. Another pillar is poshak. Poshak is outfit, okay? So I want all of you to emphasize now onward, instead of saying Sal Mubarak or Happy New Year, yesterday was Happy Diwali, Shubha Diwali, or Nutan Varsha Abhinandan. And if we don't do, as a parent, the future generation will not forgive us. That is for the sure. And I have come across so many parents, they normally say, when it comes to Gujarati, time is nahi male. We have got time for speech and drama. We have got time for the ballet. We have got time for the swimming. We have got time for the dancing. But when it comes to Gujarati school, pachi thaki jai, so we say, no. We as a parent are responsible. And the child cannot be go for the big conversation, but small thing. Kem cho? Obviously, he or she will be able to, if we teach, will be able to tell, Majama shung tame kem cho. Slowly, it becomes our duty, not only duty, the responsibility. So, on the occasion of New Year, that is part of my message, you can say, that we must start putting in practice now onward. As I told you about the COVID-19, we have to discipline ourselves. Although the previous speaker and part of the vote of thanks, it will be acknowledged, but I will be failing in my duty, all the streaming team. In fact, when they arrive 5 o'clock, I said salute to you. Because the whole program is starting about 6:30. But to start at 6:30, they were there for 5 o'clock. Even one of our executive member, when I was speaking to him yesterday, they say 5 o'clock, but they will be late. But they proved us wrong. They proved us, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that. So keep that spirit going on. Thank you so much. Badane Nutan Varsha Abhinandan, Lakshmi Narayan Bhagavan ki jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerebai. And thank you to all our speakers that shared their messages this morning. We have come to the end of this morning's program. Before we conclude with the Shanti Path, I hand over to Dampal Ravji to pass the word of thanks.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone. Shri Jaidebai Shukla, honored and dearest devotees. On behalf of the Shree Laksmi Narayan Mandir, I start by extending my heartfelt appreciation to Shree Laksmi Narayan for allowing us the opportunity to host the ceremony. It is with his grace that we are able to perform such events. I will be failing in my duties if I did not take the time to acknowledge and show gratitude to the following. Shri Jaidebai Shukla for overseeing and managing the New Year ceremony. A special thanks is extended to Lanesta Ben Chavan, Jaidebai Shukla, Arunbai Mistry, and Javibai Ravji for their New Year's messages. Our technical team, Videsh Nana, Ashish Jeevan, Bhavik Gosai, Rajan Vallabh, and Vaibhav Mistry, who selflessly put many hours of work to bring this live recording into your homes. To Maganbai Jeevan and team for the preparation of the prasad. To Virat Patel from VB Solutions for the printing and stickers. Satish Kalain for printing the calendars every year. Bhupesh Vala for cleaning the mandir carpet. Nishal for setting up the tent. Pratibha Ben Shukla and Dipti Ben Desai for providing the anakut for all 56 items. To all the volunteers that ensured that all the COVID-19 protocols were adhered to over the past 2 days. Thank you to Milan's Puja Shop, Vaibhav Sari Center, Karanichas at Signa Terrace, and Krisha's Fruit and Veg for their selfless support whenever it is required. Please note that from the 16th of November, 9:30 a.m. onwards, the Annakut Prasad will be available at the same venues. Last but not least, to you, our beloved devotees, for your heartwarming support and participation. Please note that the Annakut Aarti at 12 o'clock will also be live streamed on your YouTube channel. This program will commence from 11:45 a.m. onwards, where bhajans and the Aarti will be rendered by the Ramji Bhajan Mandal. Be sure to tune in. On the 25th of November 2020, the Tulsi Viva Puja will be celebrated. Further details will be shared via the media. We humbly request you to consider a donation towards the activities of the Mandir. It is with the generous support of people like yourselves that helps us oversee religious events across a calendar year. Please use the QR codes provided or contact Rajan Vallabh on 082 771 9461. It has been a great pleasure sharing this event with you, and I thank you all for being part of the spiritual journey with us.
Nutan Varsha Abhinandan.
Namaste and thank you.
Jeribai will now lead us into the Shanti part.
Dev Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apah Shanti Aushadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Re Shanti Sama Shanti